So if you have been following me on my Insta story, I have been asking, shall I do a question and answer video? And some of you said yes, so here I am. I'm doing a question and answer videos. I got some questions from you on Instagram, but I'm also answering questions from my YouTube channel. So let's get right into it. Question number one is from Ivan Corbino. How do you work on comping? So how do you work on comping? That's a question that I get a lot, and I think that's a very good question. I think there are maybe two very important things for working on comping. So one thing would be like practice comping within a form. So practice comping in a song, in a jazz standard, for example, and always be aware of the form that you are playing. Is it an AABA form? Is it 2 times 16 bars? Is it through composed? And if you're having trouble keeping the form while comping, make a mental note which kind of form are you playing, which tempo and in which meter, because it all makes a difference and it all feels different. So it's very good if you know with which forms you might be struggling, and then if you're just go ahead, pick a tune, pick a form and sit down. And one of the easiest exercises that I really like to do is just play a chord on the 1, set the metronome on 2 and 4 and play like for a very long time through the form. So this would be my first tip for comping, is like play a form or play even quarter notes for a very long time. And the other thing that I have been struggling with a lot as well is, which is kind of fascinating. So you know, sometimes you have like 4 chords in one bar. If you have a lead sheet, you have like 4 chords in one bar, and on another time you have like 1 chord for 4 bars. So, and then you listen to a piano player, and she or he is just like playing 1 chord or a lot of chords, but it doesn't always have to relate to the number of chords that is actually written in that bar, if you can follow me. It's good to be solid in jazz theory and try to hear as good as possible, and then you can play more chords if you're having only 1 chord written down for 4 bars, and the other way around, you could play only 1 chord maybe for 4 chords instead. And that has a lot to do if you know which chords you can eliminate, or how you could play more chords instead of 1 chord. So by this I just mean you don't have to play all the chords that are written down all the time, and on the other way around, you don't have to play only 1 chord if you're having 4 bars. So maybe I should make a video about this, because I think that's a really fascinating subject. So next question. Ivan Corbino. Okay, I can't go on like this. What's the question? It's about comping again, so it's how to not get lost. So I guess I sort of answered that with the question before. Hey Ivan. No, it's Ivan again. Okay. How can it's really by accident, because I put them all here for the reason that this wouldn't happen. Okay. How can you work for comping for a singer? I mean, all the things that I just said would apply to this as well. One thing that I would really be careful about is the top note of the voicing, that it won't clash with the melody the singer is singing. So one thing that I would do is know the melody of the tune, and I know that can be like really hard, because most of the times singers are like playing in another key, or very often. So if you would go the extra mile of checking out the melody of the tune in the other key, maybe even writing down the melody a little bit in your chord sheets, and then trying to play chords that help find that note, because I know from a lot of singers that they're having trouble playing with a guitar player if they're not used to it, because of course if a singer plays with a piano player, he or she can play any top note, right? That's no problem, but we can't do it. So let's make sure that we can offer the top note in the voicing if it's possible, or at least that we won't play a top note that is like a minor second or a second, you know, which has a lot of dissonance and which will be even harder for the singer to intonate to. So this would be my tip. And playing intros, right? Learning to play an intro that makes it very clear for the singer where the first note is. So the next one is TRM. He asked, Tina, I'm curious who your favorite jazz pianists are. Personally, I found that closely listening to pianists offer me new perspectives on the guitar. So I have been listening to a lot of Brett Meldau, and I've been listening to a lot of Herbie Hancock. I have to say, I guess he's my favorite piano player. Herbie Hancock is just great. And I'm also a big fan of Aaron Parks. If you don't know him, check him out. He's a beautiful piano player. And then in general, I'm listening to a lot of music which doesn't have to have a guitar player. So this is a really long question, but you're a great teacher. Thank you. What's the question? I've noticed hardly any vids on YouTube that teach how to compose music, so I was wondering if you might ever teach that. So I have to say, I think I have one video about transforming a pop song into a jazz vehicle, but I don't have a video about composing music, and that has something to do with my own struggle of composing music. And just right now I have like an opportunity where I really have to write some songs. I have been writing songs. I really don't consider myself an expert on that subject. One thing that helped me personally, again, is the 10-minute thing. Practice or try to compose music for 10 minutes every day, because this is as short of a time of amount that I don't get in my head too much, and then if that works better after a while, you can compose for longer times, because my personal problem is just like I'm getting so self-critical after a time that I just can't keep on composing anymore. And a thing that I think helps as well is like if you're giving yourself some kind of structure, so you would say, first of all, I'm only going to write down some chords, just going to find some chords, or I'm going to find a melody, or I'm just going to focus on a rhythm. And I think this is maybe good advice, just to start with one part, and then if you don't know anymore how to add chords or find more chords, then you try and find the melody. And I think that I read that Metheny is working like this a little bit. So like he's first like working on the chords, and if he doesn't get any further with that, he would be working on the melody. And if he doesn't get further with the melody, he would get back to the chords and then to the melody, and all the time between those two things. That's the way he seems to be working. I think exactly if you're getting stuck with something, just try to find a way to twist it around. And maybe another thing that is good is to work on different projects on the same time. So maybe not only write one song, but like write 5 songs and then switch between them. And the last tip that I have is what really helps me also is to be creative in a like totally different field which has like nothing to do and has no use, and I forgot what it was. What did I do? So for example, I play piano like as a hobby, and if I play piano a little bit, that inspires me also a lot to find something new on the guitar. So just mix it up, go to the museum, hear a nice concert, don't give up, and just keep on pushing, and then you'll find your tunes, I'm sure. Okay, from Christos Kopelakis, good afternoon, many thanks for all the lesson is for pick. Is there any fingerstyle jazz guitar? No, I don't have a video on fingerstyle jazz guitar. I am playing a little fingerstyle jazz guitar on my acoustic guitar, but I'm not really an expert on it. I would suggest you listen to Tommy Emmanuel. He has very good tutorials, and what's the other one? And I list some of the other resources for fingerstyle guitar that I find really cool down in the description. So here's another question from Ivan. Can you make a video about books you like? Yes, I already did a video about books I like. You can find it here, and maybe I'm going to do another one because I'm really a big fan of reading and of different books, and there are so many great books. I would really like to do another video on this. So here's a question from Mick Said Key. He is asking, what guitar are you playing? So I'm mostly playing an Ibanez RS50 and or a Metheny PM100, and he's asking which humbuckers do you have on the Ibanez, and I have no clue. I'm sorry. Last question for today is, great, thanks for sharing. How long did it take? Oh, that's for the do it the hard way solo. It took forever. General for the transcription and then to play it by heart, because I always try to play it by heart. I need about 2 to 3 months. And the next transcription I'm working on is Enemies of Energy, and it will take forever, but it's great fun, and I think it's one of the best things that you can do is transcribe, learn it by heart, and then make a video, because then you really have it in your system. So that's it for today. I hope you're doing fine. See you soon. Bye.